Oh, those are new.
There's a lot of
They
new
released.
ones.
This episode of Getting Tabled is brought to you by Valhalla Hobby. Use code TABLE to get 5% off one order over $100. Thank you to our tablers for choosing to support us. Please consider joining Patreon for $2 a month. You can listen to recordings live and get early access to almost all video content on the YouTube channel.
Brought to you by some guys on the internet.
This is Getting Tabled.
With your hosts, Jason the Bruce,
You guy!
George the Yang,
I hope you are all entertained by my inaptitude.
Jason aka Major Socks.
We've been doing this and talking about various stuff. One of the stuff.
Now sit back, relax, and get tabled.
Hello, future people. Welcome to episode 179 of Getting Tabled with your host, Jason the Bruce.
Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode. We are live to our Patreon and not live to everybody else. We also have with us the main man, the teaching man. I don't think I have any reason to demote him, so I guess I'll have to call him Major Socks.
Good. Because guess who just approved, hopefully, my promotion board? Secretary of the Air Force.
Ooh.
Does that mean that Major is going to soon become a
Lieutenant
demotion?
Colonel? No, upwards.
Well, no, but calling you Major would become a demotion from Lieutenant Colonel.
Oh, yeah, in that case, yes, it would. Yes. In that case, yes. Once I become Lieutenant Colonel, then yes, Major would be a demotion to me. You're right.
George, I think we should start conspiring because Lieutenant Colonel Socks doesn't sound as cool as Major Socks does. So I think we should we should conspire to ensure he never gets promoted.
Well, so technically we could just call him Colonel because that is part of the rank and title.
Yep.
However, at that point, I think he's starting to sound a little full of himself, so we'll just have to give him some other title. You know, like you're Jason the Bruce, I'm George the Yank. We'll just have to come up with something else because I don't want to have to say Colonel.
We could call him Colonel and make him sound Russian. Then he might get demoted properly.
Oh, thanks.
Ooh, actually. Well, no, I know I do that either because I was gonna say we could call him Commodore with all of his fleets, but no, that's still an actual thing. So
yes, it is.
We'll not do that.
Yeah,
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm here.
Let us know in the comments how to conspire against Socks.
Ooh, hey, actually, I have a great idea. We'll start a naming competition for Socks in the group.
Oh, thanks.
We should. Jason the Talkative.
Yeah.
Also George is here.
Yeah, welcome back,
Jason.
George.
Jason the Mute.
If we actually start calling him Jason, people are going to get confused. People don't. We do. This is not the first time we've mentioned that we have the same name, but I would argue most people don't know that we have the same name, let alone that that's why I'm called the Bruce.
Correct.
Because that's all Hot LZ stuff.
Yes.
Well, you're only called the Bruce because I'm somewhat cultured and knew that that's a slang for an Australian.
Oh, that and it sounds better on a podcast than the 13th, which is what I was being called online at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
I forgot how to. It's been so long since I've done this. I literally kind of forgot what I was doing. Almost, it seemed like.
Well, not just that, but with all the wind you're having up there in your state, I'm surprised you haven't blown down in Nebraska either.
Are you calling him a truck?
Yes.
I got dumps like a truck. What? No. I think we're good with that much.
In this episode, we have a whole heap of news to talk about, including Games Workshop changing the names of things again, which I think is fine, honestly. I know there's a lot of people out there that's going, grr, pitchforks, but it's fine. But in our game talk, we are taking a look at the Striketeam Commander Pledge Manager.
Sorry.
And we have a preview of some Battle Zone terrain, some pictures nobody else has seen. We may have more coming up next episode.
Newly received or noteworthy information, especially about recent or important events.
we've seen them. So nobody. Well,
Nobody
to
else.
people at TT Combat have seen them. We've
no,
seen them.
Michelle has seen them. That is somebody else.
So yeah. So we don't lie, Bruce.
No, we don't. We're going to start with. Honestly, I think
We're just going to skip the next two.
I love the fact that the moment this was announced, all of these fake for sale signs started going up on Facebook Marketplace of selling paint pots for $400. Don't try to cheap shop me. I know what I have, because it was just so right on the money. So Citadel is dead. This is something that Games Workshop have been doing for a long time now. Not so much socks, but George, do you remember a decade ago when the rumors circulating was that Games Workshop is going to rebrand itself to Warhammer, and most people with a brain turned around and said, "This is really stupid. This is not real. You're making this up." And obviously, this has been a real situation now for pretty much ever since.
So I do remember. I don't remember ever hearing that as part of the buzz. What I do remember was Games Workshop, under the Citadel copyright, lost licensing to themselves for some of the names of their paints.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you go back to some of the colors that their names, they had to change them because they lost the copyright to themselves somehow.
Oh, hang on. Are you talking
really...
about before they had their own paints, when it was a different company?
It was still Citadel paints, and they had to change the name of the colors.
Because they literally didn't have the rights to what was being made. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they almost lost the... So in the Warhammer Fantasy book, dwarves were called Dawi, D-A-W-I, and they almost lost the right to that word as well. And that's a Games Workshop term that they came up with, and they almost lost the rights on that as well. So it was
Hasbro went through that with
back.
Transformers a lot of times.
Yeah.
They still go through it. I mean, I obviously completely understand the Citadel and why people like it. It's a part of the history of the company. It's an important part of the history of the company. But realistically, changing the name from Citadel color to Warhammer color, actually, I don't think it's just fine. I think it makes more sense. Forge World going, I think, is a bigger deal than this is, personally. Also, I like the new logo.
The fact Forge World, yeah, that is a massively huge deal. To be fair, I was okay with the name Citadel but going Warhammer does make more sense. I think it would have made more sense though if they went with a Games Workshop color.
Here's the thing,
because
we still everybody still refers to them as Games Workshop, but realistically, none of their stores are called that anymore. The website, if you go to gamesworkshop.com, redirects to warhammer.com. There's no branding of Games Workshop left on the product that I've noticed. If there is, obviously let me know in the comments. But I think Games Workshop as a brand, whilst they still own it, I don't think it's actually appearing on the product anymore. I could be wrong. Obviously, you're really upset by this, Socks. I can tell by the really don't give a crap on your face.
I mean, I have Citadel colors, and I like them. The ones that I do have.
I mean, it's the same paints. It's literally just a rebrand.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
There is a percentage of the community out there that's going to be like, I can't believe they didn't take this opportunity to change the paint pots. To be fair, I hate the Warhammer paint pots with a seething passion. But that is never going to happen. They will never change the paint pots unless it's to another design of their own. As much as they will sit there until they're blue in the face telling you not to paint out of the pot, it's literally what they're designed for, because they're designed for beginners. They're not designed for us.
So I will say this: I like their pots for contrast.
Mm-hmm.
I like their pots for washes.
I agree.
don't like their pots for the paints. They need to switch to a dropper like the rest of the industry. But they need to keep their pots for the contrast and the wash, because that's so much better for washing and contrasting. You're sticking a big old honking brush and loading it and going to town.
Yep.
That's what you need. The droppers for the army painter I got, I have to sit there and
Yeah.
drop it out, and I want to, like, you know, be sparing about it, because, like, how much am I going to use? I can't just pour it back in.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could, but it's like,
It gets a little messy at that point.
yeah.
I mean, this is going to sound like I'm being conspiratorial as much as I was joking about that earlier, but one of the main reasons, like, they have no desire to help you keep your paints. The fact that the paint pots
Yeah.
accidentally, and I do say it's not a design. It wasn't designed to do this on purpose. They do seal originally. It's when the paint builds up in them that they don't seal on the new paint.
Yep.
Like, that is a fact of life with these. It's an accidental win for them because it means that you have to buy more paints. A dropper can still do the same thing, usually in the nose of it. It's much rarer though, especially if you treat them properly.
Clean it off.
Don't lie them on their sides.
Yeah.
Like, this is it a big deal? I really don't. There's probably not been as much grr about this as I expected there to be. There is some grr, but not a lot of it. I think this is fine. And you know what? I like the fact that the new logo doesn't look like it was designed in the 70s.
Yeah. It does.
What's
look
wrong
nice.
with the 70s?
Nothing,
I think the old
but it
logo
was an
was
old
great.
logo that needed to be redesigned.
No, the old logo is fine. The only reason why I said they should have kept the Games Workshop branding on the paint instead is because they have other things other than Warhammer that they use their paint on.
Yes.
So, you know, here's Games Workshop paint for all the Games Workshop products. You know,
Ooh,
the Horus
actually,
Heresy,
that's a good point.
yeah, Middle Earth.
One of the accidental
Blood
wins
Bowl?
of it being a separate name. Well, it's not just that. One of the accidental wins of it being a separate name was, like, this is paints for Warhammer, and yes, that's who mostly buys it. But people outside of it, looking at it as just a brand of paint, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Like,
No,
the
I
whole
think
these are
you're
for
kind of wrong.
Warhammer.
Yeah, and, like, you know, here's a Hobbit paint line. Here's a Blood Bowl paint line. Yeah, I could see them doing that, actually.
I was more thinking people outside of their bubble that,
Like me.
yeah. I mean, most people that have been in the hobby for a while aren't going to avoid paints just because they say Warhammer. But there is a percentage of the community that'll be like, oh, well, I'm not touching anything Games Workshop, that may have forgotten. No, that's just a dumb thought. Nobody doesn't think that Citadel is Games Workshop. All right, like I said, I think this is, I think it's fine. Are there any other brand names that they have left to get rid of? Because I'm pretty sure Black Library's gone too now. I could be wrong on that. Is there anything left? Let us know in the comments. Oh no, Black Library is still there. So Black Library would... So Warhammer Books, I assume. Warhammer Publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. We have some
Orcs.
new orcs. And much like this time last year, they're not being released in October, which is really confusing. Also, it's fine. This is a new orc war boss that, honestly, I think looks awesome. It's just a kit that's kind of screaming to be customized, although I suspect you can only... Very clearly, it can only be built in one pose. Because even...
With the exception of
like
the gun and the power fist,
Yeah.
this could fit in Sigmar, no problem.
Wouldn't be that... I mean, and, like, if you use the one with the axe, and then cut the axe off and replace it with a different weapon if you needed to, I mean, the gun you
Yeah.
can you can cut off by hand if you really like. It wouldn't be hard to customize this if you really wanted to.
Yeah, no, for sure. But this is a good looking orc as far
Yeah.
as orcs go.
It's a return to form. Like they did a whole series of orcs that look different, which are fine, but they didn't really look like Warhammer orcs. This is a nice return to form.
I think I like the one with the axe better because he's got the squig pet chained to him.
I do love squigs. Do you like squig socks?
Nah, I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent. You don't like a walking set of teeth? Because there's
No.
nothing else about it. It's just a walking set of teeth.
You're right.
It has a tail. It could wag if it was happy.
Maybe.
I don't think they always had tails, did they?
I've seen them with and without. Usually it was the big giant ones that didn't have the tail. Maybe it's because they got
Okay.
so fat that the tail stretched out to nothing because they got so bulbous.
Yeah.
Bulbous.
That's it from the Games Workshop side of things, or at least what I decided to cover. We have some Golden Age pirates on the way. So this is a new release coming from Firelock Games. So this is Blood and Plunder.
Yep.
I was doubting my memory for a second.
You're right.
Golden Age pirates as
don't
a
say
faction
it like
of their
that,
own.
Doc.
I'm right.
No,
Take
these
us
look
back
cool. I've always loved pirate style games, and
This is the one historical where it's like, I kind of want to play it.
This is the no. You're right. Keep going.
Well, it's historical, yes, but it's so. By this time, it's been so embellished from what it actually was that it's not historically accurate, but it is. But it's the one historical that I would probably readily get into.
Yeah. When I did the review of the Blood and Plunder starter set, that I really should build and paint at some point. Like I've not touched it since the review because pretty much straight after that, Entropy City started, and then I was just everything else kind of got dropped on the wayside. Hence something else I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, pirates is one of those things. Like even history is so fictional that we don't know. Like we know who people were, but there's so much of it that's
about it.
Yeah, like we just like the people that wrote about it were embellishing and making stuff up and stuff that was clearly not true. And
Yep.
I mean, Blackbeard is a good example of that. I mean, a lot of the myth around Blackbeard and how terrifying he was, which isn't to take away from some of the achievements he did, but a lot of it was essentially showmanship.
Yeah.
Like to the point where, like, the pirate flag, whilst, yes, there is points for it in history, but it's so close to a fictional piece of work because pirates would most often pretend to be a different sort of boat until they got close to you. And then it was like there's so many different versions of that black flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The pirate voice that we all know so well comes from a movie. There's no historical basis for that. Like, that's complete BS. But yes, pirates are cool. Apart from their lack of bathing, pirates are cool. But even
And
that's
the
probably
scurvy.
not true. The scurvy is definitely true. That wasn't specifically a pirate problem, though.
No,
that was naval
everyone.
pretty much
No,
across the board.
Well, anyone who wasn't properly funded.
True.
No.
Anyways, we got some nice pirates.
Oh, yeah. Being from the golden age of pirates too, like this is as close to pirates as you think of them as you'll get. Like the other sets are awesome, but they're not quite to this level yet because they're not quite to that golden age yet. It's either as the pirates are starting to die off or just as they're starting to build. Or I kind of like the idea of the golden age pirates being a faction of their own, which obviously doesn't make sense, but it, from a storytelling perspective, works. I don't know. I think those are cool. I like them. we also... Oh, not that one. Why are you looking so weird?
You talking to me?
Nope.
Yes.
Coming up next, we have a scout ship from Bombshell Miniatures. Which is...
Straight out of the 1950s.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is so retro. It's not even funny.
It's like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, like...
Yeah.
Esque.
As silly as this part of sci-fi is, there's definitely part of it that I miss. I mean, I wasn't even alive for this, but some of the designs in this retro, like so much of sci-fi now kind of looks same-ish and inspired by things that we all know. Like, it's all inspired from Star Wars and Star Trek and I miss this. I'd like to see more of this. Maybe not this specifically, but like the more weird and wacky stuff. I'd like to see a little more of it. Because you could do this and still make it feel real.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a kit that you can build up. Is the website looking weird to either of you?
Yeah.
No.
I can only see like half the main picture.
Okay, so it's not just me then.
You guys just need bigger monitors then.
No. If you click on the assembly guide, you kind of get an idea of the parts that you get in it as well. It's kind of it's a nice modular kit that, like, you can play inside of this by the look of it. It's a really nice looking kit. I really like what they've done here.
Speaking of really nice looking kit, it's a bit of a squirrel, but if you scroll down, the V16 Windrunner.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep. That's gorgeous. I mean, that's just screaming to be an alternate for Warhammer. It's not designed that way, but you could easily say that this is... I mean, you could say this is an alternate Eldar, or you could say it's an alternate for the Imperium.
White Scars.
Hell, Legion. That's a good point. Hey, if you want to take Enderby City if you want to take Enderby City and make it sci-fi, do it.
Yeah, I was thinking of like some of the outlaw clans within Star Wars Legion, Star Wars universe. You could easily make some of those.
Oh yeah, because
bikes.
like the hover bikes or whatever in like Star Wars. I mean, there's as many different varieties as we have different varieties of motorcycles. So
Correct.
Pod racing.
Yeah. Then the Hurricane one where it's like, that looks straight up like a pod racer type bike too. Like some of their stuff looks damn good. It's got that definite like, 1950s-esque, 60s, but some of it is just like, no, it looks good though.
Yeah.
I want the M52 Attack Thunder bike to scroll down one more row.
Oh God,
yes. I also like the P64 Rambler, which is on the next line down. No?
P64 Rambler?
I don't see that one.
It's on the line below. Maybe the similar items doesn't actually show up the same for everybody.
Yeah, because the next line down is the M52
just
Thunder
the regular
bike.
one. That's all I see too.
Yeah.
Because I've got the Hurricane, the Thunder bike, then the other Thunder bike, and then down on the next line I've got Lancer, Tactical, the ship we were just looking at, and then the P64.
Click on vehicles, George. Under sidekicks, no, shop all. Under babes, go to vehicles. I can see it now.
The Rambler? Oh yeah, okay, now the page is looking funky.
I like the Barracuda. The Lancer Barracuda bike.
Barracuda.
Second row, far right of that vehicles page.
There is a racing game that I've spoken about on the podcast before where it's like 1930s car racing that a friend of mine turned into a pod racing game, but just by changing the vehicles out. These would work perfect for that rule set. Hell, if you want to cut the wings off and put the extra engines on,
Big huge engines on them. Yeah.
but I would just run them like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Like
I'm keeping this link.
The Windrunner, the Hurricane, the Barracuda, the Rambler, like those four, like there's just something about those. It's just, I mean, even the Thunder Bike, like that's more of like a mini plane than a bike, but still.
Yep.
But yeah, the other three for sure, the Windrunner, Hurricane, Rambler, those look damn good.
And these are easily modified, so you could buy two of each and modify one of them to make it look a little bit different, so you don't have two of the same if you were to do like a pod racing style game or whatever with it.
If you could, like the P64 Rambler, for example, if you was to cut the nose of that off, like just straight down with a razor saw, you'd then have to modify the front of it somehow. If you had two of these, cut the front off both and had them off at the side, you have a pod racer right there.
Oh god,
You have to fix the front of it then in some way, but
you get a Thunder Bike and you cut the nose off the Thunder Bike, you put it on in front of the Rambler, and then you have the pods of the Rambler on either side extended up front.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, these are some of the best sci-fi bikes I have seen. Period, hands down.
Yep. It is worth noting that these are they're selling resin 3D printed game miniatures. So you're not getting plastic kits or anything for these. I mean,
sorry, I'm leaving for a trip tomorrow. And the kids are saying goodnight and goodbye.
well, I kind of feel like we've done an Amy for the indie very briefly by accident.
Yeah,
these are just good.
Yeah, no, it's very well deserved though. Holy cow! Like the classic 1950s, spaceship, and then some just amazing bikes. Like I would proxy in these for jet bikes on an Imperium Army in a heartbeat.
Yep.
You could even take the spaceship that we talked about, and instead of putting the engine mounts on them, use those as your pod racer engines, and just use the shell of the spaceship as just like a building along the side of your track.
People on the video version of this podcast have just watched me quite literally bookmark it. I am 100% buying some of these at some point in the future.
Yes, more for the shelf of shame.
There is no shame.
Black Side
Only
Studios?
opportunity.
Fair.
What was
Fair.
that? Sorry, Socks?
Black Side Studios. We got some.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to move us along and keep us on track.
No.
So Cosmica, there's a few of these micro games that Black Site Studio have done. The previous ones have all been by Malev, who is now he's running his own game studio. They have a new one that's coming out, which has been written by the CEO of the company. So this has been written by Ben, and basically you are space cosmonauts going through space structures to find loot and try to avoid the monsters. It's on a 16 by 16 foot board, so it's a small game. Hence why this
16 by 16 foot.
Sorry, 16 by 16 inches.
I was gonna say that's a big board game.
I was gonna say most stores don't have room for a board that big.
16 by 16 inches. It's designed to be working on multiple levels. And basically, you've got to get in and out in a certain amount of time. The deeper you go, the better the loot is going to be, potentially. Also, the bigger the danger is. But you have to be able to get out before the game is over, otherwise you lose. You can play this with people, cooperatively. You can play it against other people. Reportedly, it wouldn't be that hard to twist it to make it a single-player game. I really like the way this sounds. Just kind of really cool.
Can I just stop and say, how does Black Site Studios keep doing the most amazing terrain sets ever?
Yeah. This is a
I mean-
really simple kit too, but it works so well.
I mean, not to throw shade at TT Combat and Sarissa Precisions and the other one, the Tolling Chester Village complete set that I was like drooling over for a bit. Like, not to throw any shade at those kits, but Black Site Studios, like their stuff it just looks so good. They've been doing it at this level for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could use this for the game that we're going to be talking about later.
We're not talking
Yeah.
about any games later.
I know.
No, definitely
part of
not. No,
your-
we're definitely not going to be doing
Not that one.
definitely nothing to do with squads that drop in at all.
No.
I just think this sounds really cool.
It is a really neat concept. You know, like you always hear about the Apollo and stuff like that. You don't hear about, you know, the Soviet stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because they lost. But
Well,
Sorry, Russia.
it's not like
sorry,
this
not
isn't the
sorry.
this is not the first space game they've done either. You
No.
No.
may be
The
forgetting
moon,
this, but
the one.
the
moon one.
Luna is quite literally
Russia versus
Ironically-
US.
ironically inspired from history, because people was convinced that the moon was going to be worth fighting over at some point, which obviously it wasn't. Because the
Still
moment
is,
we got up
actually.
there, we were like, yeah, we probably should just use this to research, and we don't really need to own this. Because there's
becoming
nothing
more of a
there.
hot topic.
Mm.
It's-
Oh, well,
It's becoming more
uh,
of a hot topic on who gets back there again first.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, obviously it's pretty obvious, but I really like the idea of this. They do have a couple of videos out now, like one explaining how the game works, and like another one which is kind of like a couple of rounds of combat, like they usually do for previews in their games. This one looks to be turning around quite quickly. Apparently, the game book is actually going to be printed in the US, so the turnaround on this should be pretty quick. Something that won't be incredibly quick is our next thing, though.
This looks neat.
Yeah. So there's a few dinosaur games out there, but they're all inspired by Jurassic Park, right? This game, you're playing as the dinosaurs after the meteor is impacted, and it's survival of the fittest who can survive the longest. That is essentially the brief of the game. So you're playing as carnivores. There is also herbivores in this as well. My understanding is that they are NPCs, but I could be wrong on that. All I've done is watch a video at this point. It's a D10 system, and basically you are fighting other carnivores to get food before they can, so that you live and don't go
They die.
extinct. I mean, it's called Carnivore. It's exactly what it sounds like. I think this is a brilliant idea. 1 to 4 players, like most games, I suppose. It just makes sense, right? Like, dinosaurs are cool. Everybody likes dinosaurs. But everything is trying to rip off Jurassic Park.
Do they say what age range this is targeted for? There we go, 13 plus.
Yeah,
They
I
need
mean,
to get it
it's...
lower to like. They need to get it lower to
Kids.
like 8,
Well,
6 or 8. Yeah, like could you imagine 6 or 8-year-olds getting to play as like dinosaurs trying to eat other dinosaurs? Like
I mean, that's their kid's dream with their plastic
That's like-
dinosaurs.
yeah.
that would literally be like cocaine. Like,
I
here,
mean,
kid, look, I've got this board game where you play as a dinosaur. They're now financially irresponsible and poor. They have too many board games.
there's nothing. I mean, the downside of this is that, I mean, it's designed to be quite gory and stuff, right? But I mean, you could paint it up not to be that way, I suppose. I mean, there is like some. I don't know if they actually show them, but there is actually like carcass pieces that you end up having after the creature's dead.
Yeah, I know the
And-
6-year-old. That's what 6-year-olds want to see.
Yeah.
Get insides of a dinosaur.
I haven't watched exactly how the game plays at this point, but all games can be dumbed down if you really needed to.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Like they need to have a kid friendly rule set to like go eat dinosaurs.
Well, and look at the pledge levels. The pledge levels aren't that bad either because you can get the physical or you can get digital. And if you have access to a printer, you can 3D print all of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I would argue.
Yeah.
Is this a dangerous thing for me to say? I know it says 13 plus, but you know your kids. You know what's going to give them nightmares and what's not. You don't need to go into detail as to how this works. If you don't paint up the carcass bits to be gory, again, I haven't watched a video of this, but who even says that you need to use the carcass bits? Replace the carcass bits with little tokens. And then,
Bruce, you're missing the point. That's what 6-year-olds want. They want the nightmares from it. They want to see the bloody card. That's what
I know,
want.
but not all parents think the same way that you do. Some parents want to protect their kids from horrible thing. Like there's a lot of ways that you can approach this for kids.
Yeah, that was our parents. We are now the parents. We want our kids. Well, kids need to have trauma.
You're not going to get me arguing with you. But my point, like I know this says 13 plus, but I really don't see anything here. Again, look, I don't have kids. I don't see anything that would be a problem for most 7 or 8 year olds, let's say. It depends on how complex the rules are.
Oh my god, carnivore meat tokens all the way down at the bottom of the list.
That was my point, yeah. So they are there, but if you're a parent that doesn't want that around your kids, which is fine, it's your life, you can just take them out and replace them with like the little glass beads that people use. It's really easy to fix.
Or make it real realistic and just use little piles of ground beef.
Yeah. I think this just feels like such an easy win. I mean, it's doing really well. It's like 539% funded, which really doesn't surprise me. I really think this could go further.
Yeah, their goal was 20,000. Yeah, their goal was 20,000. They're over 100,000. Yeah, that's
with 2 weeks left, just about.
Yeah.
16 days left.
Yeah.
Who has this company done any other projects?
Yes. Is it 1932?
1490. 1492.
Okay.
Which is another game that we looked at one point.
Oh, so I mean, this isn't their first go around, but they're not like, a habitual.
Yeah, no, they're still
an
indie company.
Yeah, well, there's Awakened Realms. There's others that are habitual.
Yeah.
Look, all crowdfunding has its risks. I'm not saying that this doesn't have its risks. I'm just saying this looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like something that's a really easy win.
Yeah.
Up next, we have some
Eureka.
Yes, Aussie company. Yay! We have some Tlingit warriors. So, from my understanding, the Tlingit people were like Central Western America. From what I understand, I tried looking this up, and they were like their region was. I don't know. Like it was. If my screen is the United States, my understanding is that they were here. This being Canada, this being down towards Mexico.
So, like Northern California, Washington.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Oregon.
I'm obviously not as familiar with the Native American tribes as other people would be because I don't live there. I kind of really like the look of this though. These are all 15 mil.
Maybe further north because they're talking about Russian colonial. So we may be even thinking like Upper Washington, Canada, Alaska. Well, the Alaska's Inuit. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Like I said, I tried looking it up, and I I tried looking it up and I wasn't 100% sure. For 15 mil figures, these... Oh, actually, it's not 15 mil. It's 28 mil. Where did I get
28.
15 from?
I don't know.
Oh,
Okay,
Pacific
never mind.
Northwest coast, including Southeast Alaska, parts of Canada. So
I was right.
Mhm.
These are... I think these look magnificent. The person that sculpted these is Alan... I think it's Alan Marsh. It might be Alan Moore. I don't remember. Does it say? Oh no, Mick Darper. Oh well. I think these look magnificent. Something else that's coming out soon. I swear there's something else that's coming out that Alan Marsh was doing. That was 15 mil. I don't know. There's something else that's being released that I'm obviously forgetting about. Because I remember looking at it. Anyway, doesn't matter. like I said, I think these look magnificent. That they are just really cool. Eureka Miniatures have so many unique things. Like, there's a whole heap of... we've covered them before, but like just looking at the new website is so much easier to go through than the old one too. If you just click on collections, like we've got Ancient World, Dark Ages, Middle Ages, Age of Discovery, Age of Reason, the Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, 19th, 20th, 21st century. There's fantasy stuff, science fiction stuff, tribal. Like, there's so much here that you can go through.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's just...
I
they've
remember
got
these
so
guys now. The Battle Frogs.
Yep. And the Aboriginal miniatures that I bought. Though I think they're called Dinosaurs or whatever they're called. Anyway, I thought they were really cool. Like, it's a really, really nice looking thing of figures. They're just pretty. The painted up versions look really nice as well. Next up, Relicblade. Relicblade, I don't know about you two, but Relicblade is a game that I've kind of heard of a couple of times. Like, it's kind of been in the periphery. Like, I've never really looked at it very closely, but it's one of those games that I quite frequently hear people mention about how good it's supposed to be. They've recently hit their 10th year anniversary. And for that, they are releasing 2 new sets in plastic for the first time. I assume these are being done by Wargames Atlantic, but I don't know that for a fact because it doesn't say.
I mean, if they're UK based, and what I would say, Wargames Atlantic seems to have become like the go-to for plastic.
Yeah, like, they seem to have made
if you're
themselves,
not Games Workshop.
They seem to have made themselves more accessible for the indie scene than other companies have. But obviously I don't know what the costs and so forth associated with that are. So the aesthetic of this game is very cartoony. So you're going to be noticing that pretty quickly. There's 2 new sets here. We've got the Bone and Darkness and the Battle Pigs. I'm going to start with the Bone and Darkness. These are plastic skellybobs that are just all kinds of creepy and silly, and the Bone Stalkers that are kind of running are really cool. One has this kind of really monstrous looking head. Another one has a humanoid head with a giant horn sticking out of it.
One is assembled out of multiple skeletons.
Yep. Just
interesting.
Yeah, it's a very unique aesthetic. I actually really like the aesthetic they're going with here. It's definitely not going to be something for everybody, and that's okay. Because some people really don't like the cut. Some people really want their grimdark and serious and and there's nothing wrong with that. If you go through the pictures, you get kind of previews of some of their other stuff when they're in fighting and that. Each of the sets are $65 each. They come with a book full of lore and rules and like specific things about the characters. Previously, their sets were like 4 metal miniatures and a single leaflet that was essentially like the outside was just what's in the box and the inside was the smallest amount of text you could ever find to explain what they were. The sculpts on this, like, again, very cartoony, but they're just... I really like what they're doing here. I prefer the pigs, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
the battle pigs.
The pigs are far superior.
Yeah. I really like what they're doing. The battle pigs, I'm not going to say superior. I prefer them aesthetically. I think they work for me.
I'll say superiorly. I would love to have enough like different sculpts of those pigs to do a proxy replacement for a Sigmar Orc army.
Yeah. So the battle pigs are like man pigs. They kind of feel like they're straight out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, totally.
They are fantasy, but that is how it feels. Apparently, Sean Sutter is the man behind the company. He is a one-man team. So kind of similar with me and Entropy City, except I can't draw. He does his own drawing, he does his own sculpting, he does his own everything. He's now got a third party making plastic miniatures. For
So
a
what
one-man
you're saying
team,
is,
this is insane.
so what you're saying is he's using up too much skill, and that's why you can't draw.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep, let's say that. I'm not going to lie. I'm really, really tempted by these battle pigs. I really love the look of them.
They look good.
amazing.
They look so good.
Yeah. It's just a really cool looking set. If you scroll along far enough, you will eventually get a look at the instructions, I believe. Because most of these can be built multiple ways. So in theory, if you wanted a larger force, you could buy 2 different pigs and just have them outfitted differently. But in saying that, I mean, they're $65 each. So, certainly not a cheap way to go about business either. But they're just really... Oh, no.
Yeah.
So the pig warlord can only be built one way. It's a matter of whether you give him the flag or not. And then you can either build a soldier pig or an axe pig. And then you can either build a shield pig or a cudgel pig. And then you can either build an axe pig or a shield pig. And the raider pig is just one. In saying that, you could if you're good at proxying, I see there's no reason why you couldn't play around with making your own. There is ways of expanding these with the older models. Like there's a whole slew of different stuff that's available in their shop. There's a whole heap of metal models and stuff where if you want to expand the rosters with specific characters, you obviously could. But you get to scroll down for ages. I really like what this looks like. Again, it's very cartoony. It's not going to be an aesthetic that everybody will appreciate. I want to say it kind of feels old Hammer-ish. It's very much its own aesthetic, but Old Hammer kind of has that cartoonish kind of feel as well.
Yeah.
There's just something about Pigmen that really works for me. And I don't think the price is that bad. Given it comes with the book and everything, I think it's quite... I'm not going to say it's cheap, but I feel it's quite reasonable.
Yeah. No, it's... Yeah. Anytime you can do something under $100, it's reasonable these days, it seems like.
Yeah. From what I understand, because I was looking this up last night, I may have gone a bit excited about this at one point. From what I understand, postage to Australia on this is kind of a bit much. I might
What?
consider this in the future. It's definitely something I'd be interested in exploring. But I don't need new games. So let's move on.
Sure.
A little while ago, with the announcement of Kings of War 4th Edition, we were looking at the Zakali, which were kind of like... They were like coyote, hyena-looking things. I noticed earlier in the week they announced that they were doing a series of alternate heads for them. And they are just really good boy heads. Like, just lots and lots of different dog heads that work well for them. And honestly, I really, really like the look of this. The Chihuahua might be my favorite. I mean, if you've ever seen a Chihuahua in real life, they are the most vicious, vile things you will ever meet. They don't know that they're only a foot tall. They think they're a monster. They just kind of really work for an army for me. I mean, you are buying these in packs of multiples. It probably would be a fairly expensive thing to do over a full army, but
yeah,
I really dig the Wolfhound head.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I'd like to, like, personally, if I was to build this army, I would do this for your squadron leaders and your unique character. Like, if for every troop thing that you have there, you should usually have somebody that's the leader of that troop, and that's where I would be using the bonus heads to kind of set them apart.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to do dogs for all of them, you certainly could, but at a 2,000 point, like, you're spending a lot of money at that point for alternate heads. I actually do think these are priced quite nicely. And they do give you examples of how they fit on the bodies. I think this is, again, it's an easy win. I just think these look really cool. There's not really much more to it than that. You don't have to buy the 12-pack. There is like a 4-pack and an 8-pack as well. But then obviously you lose some of the variety. But if there was only certain heads that you wanted, you could just buy the certain heads. You're still getting a mix, but at least it's not a mix of everything at that point. But I think realistically, if you were going to do this in bulk, you'd probably want to go the big variety pack. Otherwise, they're all going to look the same again, which defeats the purpose. I would use this to add variety to the army, not just a different version of the same. Now, somebody mentioned TT Combat earlier. So, let's look at some Carnivale. A couple of these were on the website last week, but we wanted to look specifically at the TT Combat, at the Drop Fleet stuff, and we did. We might give George a chance to talk about what he missed out on.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
We have the Extreme Magi Rashar, which is kind of cool. All of these are called Extreme, by the way. We have the Extreme Capitacina, which personally I think is that's my favorite personally. It just kind of really works.
Reminds me of Assassin's Creed kind of vibes.
I was going to say that's very Assassin's Creed.
Yep. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. And then finally, we have the Extreme Knight Commander, which is all kinds of cool. Like, these kind of feel like they're centerpiece models, obviously, of a force. Like, hence the Extreme, I guess.
Yeah.
Are all three of these available on the My Mini Factory? Yes. So you can actually buy the sculpts for these on My Mini Factory on their tribe as well. But they are also selling them as physical things for those that don't own 3D printers. Oh, there's different versions. Ooh, I missed that.
Yeah, the Knight
it's
Commander,
only the
he has it's a helmet head versus regular head, and I think the unhelmeted head looks way better.
I agree. That is just glorious. Kind of like the idea of doing the like the leader of the church, and he just looks so I like the idea of him being like too committed and not understanding the damage that he's causing type idea. That's kind of
A
I
zealot.
really like the look of Not that I don't like the Nighthead is cool, but there's just something about the unhelmeted one that adds so much more character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is only the head that changes, but I like that it slightly rotates in the two different images too, which is obviously not.
Yeah.
Difficult. So an interesting week, or interesting couple of weeks, I should say.
Yeah.
And George doesn't have any opinions on that he wants to go through on his Sheltari stuff.
No. You guys probably already talked about it. It's all good.
Until George
We could
ruins
have
it.
lots to talk about.
Until George ruins it rules wise for everybody by pointing out there's only one variant that's worth taking or something.
We're not pinning all of his
Did
dots.
that once. I only did that once.
I still hate you for it.
Oh wait, no. Technically, I did it twice because I said just take an entire squadron of the microwave array and like you'll just wipe a cruiser every turn and then the disintegrator banks. So twice. I did it twice.
And then you lied on the podcast about it. How dare you?
Cream, blue, prime, paint.
What have you been up to, Socks?
So, I backed a game last year sometime called Airport Empire. Unfortunately, my sons were too, especially my youngest, was too excited for me to get it that I wasn't able to do an unboxing. He pretty much ripped it out of the package and was just like, look, Dad, let's play. I'm like, okay, fine. But it's a game where you can kind of build an airport starting from a very small dirt strip all the way up to an international size airport. It's pretty fun. So we opened it up, played with him, and then I showed these the last time George wasn't here. I 3D printed these, and I have put, maybe a little hard to see with the lighting, but I have put some sand gradient paint on the beach in a sense, and some grays on the mountain peaks. And I was hoping to get around to doing some shades. I have family in town as well this week, so I wasn't able to. Yeah, I was going to do some black or dark grays for the peaks, and then some darker browns for the sandy areas, and then probably do some dry brushing of green, just get some vegetation in some places, and then I'll use those as my islands, as I mentioned last episode.
Yep.
So that's what I've been up to. George?
I built 2 bookcases today. One to the left there that you can see on camera. The one on the right you can't see. I got this in the mail today too. Hang on 1 second.
Ooh.
I'm trying to see what that is.
It's an airbrush.
Oh, right.
Here's
I
the picture
forgot that you ordered that. It almost looks like an army painter box.
Yeah.
It does. But it's I specifically went with that one because the brush could do 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7 millimeter nozzles. It was time for an upgrade. I can hear riling in my old compressor that I only spent 100 on. And just to get that compressor is 200, even without a reservoir tank, which Grex doesn't make one like that. And the price of my current brush versus that one, they're pretty comparable. I think it was the Pache Eagle. I think I'm saying that right. It was like 120. This one's 180. So, the interesting thing about this one though is a side feed, so I can point the brush straight down and rotate the cup so it doesn't spill out.
That's not a bad. Because I was like back and forth with you about how because I had a side siphon one previously, and it was a cheap one, but I had nothing but problems with it. because it kept on like it just but
Yeah,
I hadn't
so
thought of that because mine also didn't rotate. That's
because
really good.
So that's the style I learned on. I learned on a pistol grip one, but that wasn't available in the entire kit. But so what I learned when you're doing like a shading, fast easy shading, is you paint an entire color so you're moving everything around. Then your second color at least, because you at least do three, you put your brush at a 45, and you can rotate the cup so it's completely vertical, and you only go up and down. So your paint goes at the 45 so you don't hit on the underneath. And then you just go from straight down to only get the top stuff. So I just got that. Haven't cracked it open yet. Then I also I got tired of my Ender 3 Creality Ender 3 plus yeah.
Whatever.
Just yeah. So I got a Bamboo A1 with the AMS light, so I could do 4 colors. And I got the Dungeon Blocks Medieval Town 2 STL kit, and I printed one.
Looks so good.
And
Yeah, pull it back from the camera just a little bit.
well, here I was actually going to switch real quick to my phone. I completely forgot I could do this. So hopefully it gives me a little better. Excuse me. So, I mean, I did it on point 0.08 layer lines. So, I mean, there's no. I mean, if you look at straight down on the green, you can see the layer lines kind of as it's like finishing, but to give it a little perspective. So this is a Primaris Marine next to a planter box. And I'd
That
say
works
that's
really
pretty damn on scale. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
say.
Especially given that
So-
like the Primaris Marine is too like because it's people think of Space Marines as like man size, but they're not. They are like
Yeah.
8-foot monsters. So that works really well in scale.
So yeah, and like I said, I don't have any Malifaux yet because the box I really want's been pushed back to May. But I think this is a good like scale and size for that game. Based off because I don't think the Malifaux characters are much bigger than the human sized ones. They're not much bigger than a Primaris.
Yeah, no, they're 32 mil scale, so it should be much of a muchness.
So, but yeah, built shelves, new printer, new airbrush, lots of things to print.
Yeah.
Hold your Space Marine up against your finger, kind of like this, just for a second. Not that our hands are the same size, but just out of curiosity. Okay. Yep. So mine is. Yeah, they're about the same. So I'll start with that, given that I just kind of teased it a little. I should have thought about this because your daylight savings stuff has changed and our time zones have changed. I wasn't quite ready when we were supposed to start. I thought I had another hour to be ready.
Good.
I don't have my phone set up like I did last time. I got my Malifaux set that I've been kind of towing and froing. These are not finished, just for the record.
Yeah, rub it in. Rub it in.
To be fair, this was one of the boxes that came out when it first released. So I could have bought this 6 months ago, but I didn't. It's very, very dark at this point. My intention for this, I'm going to pull my airbrush out, which is something else I've done. I've gone through and cleaned it out. And I want to try doing some underglow with some OSL. I don't know how it'll work, but I want to at least try it. And if it doesn't work, I'll just go over it again and paint it more bright. Because the other option, of course, is to dry brush this and then go a second layer with a lighter color like I have other things.
Real quick, part of the reason why I want to get a new compressor is my regulator really doesn't like work and control and regulate the air like it should. So it's kind of like all or nothing. So hopefully with this one, I can turn the pressure down and get like a more, more control than what I have in the past.
So this is the Dreamer box. No point. You can't see anything. So I've gone for this is actually a very dark, well, I actually have a contrast color. It's Black Templar. It's a very dark grey at this point because I'm kind of trying to go for a shadow with a pop of color. The pop of color that I'm using is purple, which
Oh yeah,
you just can't see it on camera. It's too dark and it's all kind of blending together. So, also I should probably have myself as the big picture. Does that help at all? A little bit. It's a little bit more obvious. Obviously, none of these are finished. His little monster doggy, which definitely you can't see. I haven't painted the tail for some reason. And you have the little Alps, which have these kind of torn clothing. They kind of have this look of, like they've kind of torn, they kind of have this Hulk look, where they've got like leftover clothing. It's not what they are, but it's just what it reminds me of. But a few episodes ago, I kind of had a real good hobby session, right? You guys already know where this is going, but nobody else does, so I'm kind of drawing it out. I kind of really had a good go yesterday. And Friday, for that matter. I had the day off, so I was able to kind of move around and get stuff done. First things first, I went through the garage and cleaned out the garage because that's... This time last year, I mentioned about how desperately I needed to get that done. I hadn't really done much more of it since then. I went out and I got a couple more containers so I could quite literally go through and get it done. Really, really happy with how it looks. You can pretty much get all the way through the garage now. The only downside is that there's now 2 boxes of garbage that need to be thrown out because our bins are full, which is what happened last time. As part of that, I came across my Wild West Exodus stuff.
And what did you think about that, Bruce? Who shared something this week with you?
To be fair, I was already painting them at that point.
I know, but you got more excited when I showed you the War Cradle Studios blog showing them their playtesting the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been excited for this since we spoke about it.
Yeah,
a month and a half ago, I want to say. It's
probably.
Been a little while since they teased it was coming. But like now that they're actually actively playtesting
it,
it feels more real. And so I started going through my pictures. You guys, I can't show the original stuff that I took photos of everything early on, and I want to say it was like 80% primed, no paint on them. There was like 6 figures. This was the models that I was painting with my Scale 75 stuff that went weird and all kind of grainy. And that's why I never finished painting them, because I kind of... I was like,
the contrast that wasn't actually contrast.
No. Although, that's a good point. There was a Scale 75 paint range that I bought many years ago. Like, this is from their original range that you really love. And don't get me wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's the reason why I warned you about them originally. Not because they're not good paints. They are very good paints. But the set that I got went funky. And they started coming out with this almost sandy texture when they were drying. Now, I don't know what went wrong with my set. Clearly there was something wrong with my set. But nobody else had this problem. So, I mean, first thought is, well, you've done something wrong. But there was nothing wrong with the models before I put them on. Anyway, that's beside the point. I've been speed painting them. I might have put my dwarf session to shame. So in 8 days, I painted, what was it, 15 or 18 models or something? I've kind of gone a little nuts.
Just a little.
Make no mistake, some of these had paint on them originally. There was like 6 or 7 of them that had paint on them originally. And you can actually kind of see which ones it was because their skin is a more pale colour. First things first, this is obviously not finished because the grey needs to be highlighted back up again. But I clearly changed my mind on the bald eagle and stuck with the bald eagle.
It looks good.
I was originally going to try and paint this in a different type of eagle just because, I don't know, there's just... I'm not a bald eagle person. I know that it's massively iconic, but
Yes.
I'm not American, so it doesn't hold the same mythology for me. I mean, I say mythology, it's a real animal, but...
Yeah.
But it's a Native American tribe. Like, it should be a bald eagle. I mean, it's either that or ends up being a golden eagle, which is boring anyway. So I stuck with... And I've tried to paint it as accurately as possible. Because, I mean, this section here, in theory, I could have gone darker. But when I looked up photos, that tends to be white as well. But then underneath tends to be darker. So I think I kind of... This paint here is actually intended to be a skin color called noble skin, but I think it works really well for the feathers in like that.
I agree.
Browny grey color. Their plumage tends to shift slightly depending on, I don't know if it's age or if it's just because not all animals have the same shade. I guess it's like grizzlies. Some of them are slightly darker, some of them are slightly lighter. But there was just something about that color that felt right to me. So I'm really... This was an hour this morning. This is what I was doing when I realized that you two were online. And hence, like, when I sent that photo and then immediately said, I am coming, that's when I realized that you guys were already ready to go. Speaking of grizzlies, this was last night. He is obviously not finished either. I, again, kind of feel like I stumbled into the right colour here. Socks, do you remember that terrain I was looking at that I'd painted up last episode?
Yeah.
And I kind of stumbled across the perfect ground cover? It's the same colour on this.
Okay.
It just kind of feels right.
Yeah.
So that's a character called Raging Bear. Now that he has paint on him, it kind of looks like the most cuddly thing I've ever seen. Much like a grizzly. You don't want to snuggle a grizzly.
No.
I also built and primed this guy, who is, I want to say he's a cougar. I haven't put paint on him yet, so he is the one that's the exception yet. I'm just going to grab a couple of the figures because they're all works in progress, but rather than go through them all individually, which might get a bit dull after a while, I think that works. So their pants at this stage, originally when I took photos of these, those were painted. I've gone back over them. I'm going to paint them again because there's details on these I want to be a different colour. Also, they turned out yellower than I wanted to. I may actually end up going over the tabard in the middle as well. But skin colour-wise, this was a skin colour called Warrior Skin, which is kind of like... It's not quite... It's darker than it needs to be, but it has kind of like a reddish tone. I didn't mind it. I may still highlight it up a little bit more because Native American skin doesn't come off that dark, generally speaking. I mean, not all skin is the same. Some are lighter, some are darker. But I won't know until I've done the rest of the colours how much I need to adjust. But I'm not unhappy with it. I still think it looks quite nice. I've gone back through... Oh, actually. Here you go. This is what the colours were originally. Because these ones I haven't gone back over with the white yet. So it came out very yellow, which is not what I wanted to do. I think what I'm going to try and do is paint it with like... Because what I did originally was I watered down a colour, hoping that I would get a more pale version. And I did, but it still came off quite like a bright yellow. I think I'm going to try and go for a bone colour and hope that kind of, I think that's going to turn out a little bit better. The accent color is going to be like a bright blue, which I don't really have on anything at the moment. There's one of them somewhere that has the shield in a bright blue, but I would be looking forever to find it. I've been a tad busy. I spent
Just a bit.
I spent the better part of the last 2 days. I mean, I spent like 4 hours in the garage on Friday, and then I dusted these off. Like there was a lot of dust on these, and then I was like, I'm in the mood. So I spent probably about 2 or 3 hours yesterday doing all of the skin and the hair. Friday night doing the skin and the hair, and then yesterday I did all of the fabric, and then kind of half undid all of the fabric again because I was like, there was a whole heap of details on there that I want to be blue that were then yellow and were coming off green. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to highlight those. And I started doing that, and I'm like, you know what? I think I want to go back over everything. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go over it with the bone color. There's one more miniature on this set I think I'll show. Ghost Wolf. Giant werewolf version of one of the main characters. This is one of their skin changes that I really wish I'd set my phone up properly. But basically what I've done, I started with the human skin color of the rest of them. And you'll note, like, it actually came out a little bit lighter on him than it did on some of the others. The thing with contrast, speed paint or contrast is it reacts very differently depending on what the prime was. And these were all Zenithial highlighted. And I think the reason some of them come off a lot darker is because the Zenithial wasn't done as well on some as it was on others. But that feels a lot more accurate to the final color that I wanted, ultimately. And then it kind of just blends naturally into the grey wolf. I went back and forth on what I wanted to do with the wolves, because, I mean, wolves are very different. They can be grey, they can be brown, they can be black. It just depends. I went grey because, I don't know, it kind of just felt right, I guess. I didn't want to go too dark because then you lose some of the detail, but because Native American hair generally tends to be a black or a grey, I kind of leant in that direction so that it kind of felt like it was a natural transition. Because these are all humans that have... It's the whole skin changer myth, right? So that is quite literally the idea here.
Do you want to hear an interesting fact?
Sure.
So during the Manifest Destiny and the expanse of the colonies across the country, the indigenous thought that Europeans were cowards because they didn't have hair on the back of their head, so they couldn't be scalped.
Oh, interesting.
Because if you look at whose genetic lineage is stays within the bloodlines, Native Americans don't go bald.
Oh, I'd never
White
even
Europeans
thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, white Europeans were considered cowardly because they didn't grow hair, so they couldn't be scalped. Because that was the trophy.
I mean, I knew scalping was the thing. I didn't know that Native Americans didn't go bald. That's actually news to me.
They don't go bald. Facial hair is difficult to grow. They have a higher chance of alcohol dependency.
Yep. The other thing I have done, and that's the wrong tray, I have finally painted up some Redemption Falls Police Department minis. All of them are variations of blue. I don't know why he has a green helmet, but all of them are kind of variations of blue because that kind of fits. This one's a very, very pale blue. Everybody keeps on calling him like a ghost, which I guess works. This is quite literally a mini that was being used for the Komodo that is now being used for the police because it just kind of works. All of the police vehicles are like your bagger style, like your heavier, like what the police use in real life, where they have the solid cases on the side for their gear and stuff. I've kind of kept that because it just kind of made sense. And then when I was painting up some of the mutiny stuff, that's kind of like a teal turquoise type thing. I kind of went, it's not really different enough.
Yeah.
So ever since I did the Kroot, I've had this thing with like blue-green that I've used in quite a few projects, and it's the reason why I kept it with that. And I'm like, I'd love to use it there.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't being used anywhere else. So I thought, but realistically, with the police being blue, it's kind of a little bit too close. A friend of mine turned around and said, well, why don't you go closer to green? So, well, green's being used in the Komodo, so that's not going to really work either. So I'm actually going to change it entirely to purple.
I'll throw this out for you, Bruce. The Highway Patrol here in Wyoming, they do have a motorcycle division.
Mm-hmm.
Their bikes are black.
Yep. Well, black's a universal color. I can use that anywhere.
So black with obviously like gold and stuff like that. So
I had considered, because police bikes here generally tend to be white with like blue or black accents. And like generally most places in the world, it's like it's blues, it's blacks, it's whites, or variations in between. From what I can see,
grays.
Yeah, which again is a universal color. So, but yeah, hobby wise, I've had a pretty successful.
You've had a
fortnight of hobby.
Sounds like it.
I will probably just fail and go back into misery now, because that's kind of what happens after a big painting session. I'm really happy with how this turned out. George,
that does look really good.
When I was building this, George was like, you need to dry brush that up. And I'm like, the details on this are going to dry brush perfectly. Like, it's just perfect for it.
So when I saw that, my initial thought was like have the matte white head and other stuff, but like the wings, like the big proud feathers, like if it exists like a gold/brown like color shift,
which would be lovely.
Have that on the wings, but then like when you're done with that, then go back through and then dry brush the white on the wings and stuff like that to just catch those edges. So it's like just the center of the feather is like that shiny goldy brown, but you still get the white edge of like, but that still looks really great.
Yeah. I mean, I really love the idea of the because feathers they don't quite color shift, but they do vary a little bit. But the problem with that idea, and I mentioned this to you in the comment, was that but the problem is that all of they're all metallic-y. It would work really well for like scales and stuff, but I don't want metal feathers. Yeah. I could probably try going over it with a matte varnish to get rid of the metallic shine, but then I'm also probably losing the color shift anyway.
I wouldn't say doing it with a matte. I would say like with a satin.
Well, actually, a satin probably works.
As you should know, a well-groomed bird feather has got a very subtle shine to it.
Yeah.
So.
But
yeah, no.
I probably will go satin for the varnish on that. I don't know. There's another version of that model that I'm going to build that's kind of more vulture-ish, and it's like firing out lightning. So that's gonna be an interesting paint job too, because vultures are a very specific look as well. I have a feeling it's gonna have to be greys, but it's the head that's gonna be, because I don't think there's really a speed paint that's close. I might have to mix a couple, I think.
A gray speed paint? Or...
Well, yeah, because the vultures are kind of like that grey, black, like they're kind of like, it's very grey, but then the head is like that pinky, purpley type looking...
Red.
Yeah. And I don't think there's a speed paint that works specifically. I mean, I don't have to use speed paint, but
Yeah.
I'm going really well with the speed paint lately.
Right?
It's so much
You're
easier.
you're getting stuff painted with it, yeah. No, that was one thing too. Is just like, when I when ultimately my Malifaux shows up, it's just like, am I going to go traditional or am I going to try to speed paint? And I think I'm going to go traditional on them.
Maybe I'll try with the. I don't know, that might be too dark. I might try with the Abaddon Black. Abaddon Black? No, Black Templar. It's kind of. It might be a little too dark though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't even unboxed it yet. Well, it's not even out of its wrap.
Talk nerdy to me.
So, a couple of weeks ago, we kind of said when it goes live, we're going to talk about a certain pledge manager.
Well, it's live.
It's live, so it's time. We are going to be discussing the Drop Squad Strike Team Commander and Battle Zone Commander Pledge Manager. And we're also going to be looking at some exclusive pictures that were sent to us by Louis, which we really, really appreciate.
Yes, thank you, Louis.
I reached out to Louis, and there's no harm in asking. If you don't ask, the answer's always going to be no. But I was like, we want to look at the pledge manager and kind of give it some attention. Out of curiosity, do you have any pictures of the Strike Team terrain? I had specifically asked about the Strike Team one because that's obviously the one we've always been hyped about. And he said, remind me about this tomorrow, because obviously he wasn't in the office, which I did. And yeah, so I did do that. And then, yeah, he kind of came back with that. So, we will come back to that. I'm slightly delaying because I'm actually getting those pictures ready. He quite literally went back and took photos of a model that was on their desk, which is these ones. So, this is one of the chroma painted buildings for Battlezone. It's specifically Battlezone because, Strike Team takes place inside a building, not outside of it.
Yep.
I really love how this looks. Michelle made a comment that I will repeat a little in a moment because I do agree with him. But the texture on these, the chroma stuff looks nice, obviously, yes. I mean, it's certainly a lot easier than painting it yourself. If you want
faster.
Yes. If you wanted to theme this around a specific type of building, you could add a little bit of moss onto this to make it look more greenery. You could add a little bit of sand around the bottom of it if you wanted a desert type, something that's been overrun by sand and stuff. You can customize this very, very easily. Likewise, if you wanted to take the ruination of this even further, you could go in there with a little bit of airbrush or a little bit of black paint around certain areas to make it look like it's been on fire, or the top of the windows to make it look like fire's been coming out of them, because it would be the top of the window, not the bottom of the window. You could do that very, very easily. But I really love these. He did say that he might be able to show me some more on Tuesday, which if he does, we will show next episode. But that was all that was on the guy's table at that stage. So let's get to the pledge manager. So it's a pledge manager that looks like most pledge managers.
There's just a lot to it.
Yeah. And this is why it's taken a while to come. So, just to give a very brief overview, I'm just scrolling through this. There is a lot here. First things first, scrolling through, everything has images for sculpts now, which wasn't necessarily the case at the end of the Kickstarter. A lot of these we have seen the sculpts for in updates since then, but everything has a sculpt. That doesn't mean that all of these are still final. Some of these are still the blown up ones that need to be redetailed.
Yep.
Because, that is a fact of life. But everything has proper 3D imagery now.
I think some of the Shaltari stuff might not. The Sekhmet, for example, that looks like an artistic rendering, but still, it looks amazing with the pose.
Oh yeah, but it is rendered.
Sekhmet. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But I love the look of those blades on his arms.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the starter sets, because the starter sets actually do show what's in them now, including the unlocks. So the Battle Zone 1, for example, comes with the 20 Scourge Warriors, 4 Scourge Eviscerators, 20 UCM Legionaries, 6 Praetorians, 4 Hazard Suits, and then rulebook, the unlocked extras was an extra Hazard Suit, an Eviscerator, a Wolverine, 2 Prowlers, a Legionnaire with a missile launcher, and a Scourge Warrior with a mortar. So it's a decent sized set. It is probably...
I'm getting this one, and I forgot about the Wolverine and the Prowlers, and so I'm like very excited about this now.
I thought you were getting the Strike Team one.
I'm getting both.
Oh, okay.
I did the dual team. I did the dual command pledge.
Yep. It is probably worth reminding people that the 20 Scourge Warriors and the 20 Legionnaires are push fit models. They are the more simple ones. And that's just because it's an easier, cheaper way to get them in the box. But the Strike Team Commander are multi-pose miniatures.
Correct.
So you get 20 Scourge Warriors, 20 UCM Legionnaires, tokens, rules,
No, 10 of each for Strike Team. 10 of each for Strike Team.
Isn't that what I said?
You said 20.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 10 of each. You also get an extra Hazard Suit, an Eviscerator, an extra double-sided mat, and 10 Resistance Fighters, which I think is the thing that we keep on forgetting.
Yeah.
Out of the box, you have 3 factions that you can use. We will talk a little bit later about what each of our plans are, because we each have slightly different plans for what we're doing here. You and George, I think, are mostly doing the same idea. It's kind of me that's gone the other way, right? No, you're different?
George,
no,
I think I'm the only one that's...
Okay. We'll touch on
I
that
think I'm out of left field with my ideas, so...
Let's go to the terrain. So all of the terrain now has 3D renderings. The scatter terrain has painted examples. That hasn't changed, because most of those are redos of stuff that existed elsewhere.
Yeah.
But we have a Chroma subway entrance now that we have seen in an update, but I'm just kind of showing it off because it's nice and pretty. We have the bus stops, which look honestly gorgeous. And it's probably worth noting, with the exception of the advertisement signs, all of this would work for Entropy City too. Like, just really easily. The Chroma Retail District has renderings of a building, just to give you an idea of how everything's going to work together. That's a 4x4 table, that one.
Yep.
But kind of works really nicely. They give you an idea of the layout and an idea of how at least some of the buildings are going to look at. The Strike Team mats and the Chroma mats haven't changed. It's still just the 3D line art that we saw on the Kickstarter, which is fine. That's actually why I asked Louis if we had any imagery of it yet. But
there's a whole host of Battle Zone.
Yeah. So we have a ruins set, which is obviously the ruins that we just looked at. We also have a 6x4 ruin set. Realistically, if you were going to buy one of the sets, I think I would buy the 6x4 myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it
You can
depends on
scale it
budget.
down to a 4x4.
That's the thing. I really, really like. I could see certain people spending a lot of money on this. I really like what we're seeing. But let's start going through some individual stuffs. Strike teams. Just go for the strike teams to start with.
Well, let's go ahead and throw out what my plan is.
Actually, yeah.
Since we're going to look at the strike
yeah.
teams. So I'm on the strike team pledge, which is 65 pounds. Which right now there isn't a way to switch out of that. Which I want to get out of that because I want to just get the strike team set, which is 35 pounds. That gives me everything in the box except for miniatures and the mats, I believe. Right? Yep. No, it gives me a double-sided, not all the double-sided. But that's what I want to do. Because what I want to do is I want to just do one of each of those strike teams.
Just very, very briefly, the $35 set, the strike team set, so it comes with your tokens, the dice, the Kickstarter exclusive rule cover, character cards, and a double-sided map. The reason I mention this is that particular thing I don't believe featured until very late in the Kickstarter. It's like the last day or so. Yeah. Because I rewatched our interview with Louis, and we asked him about an option for this, and he was like, no, because we want to unlock the sets and stuff. You need to buy the set, because if you don't, you won't get all of this stuff. From memory, this was the last day or two. It may not have actually been until after the Kickstarter where they said, we are going to do this for those that want it.
I think it was like one of the last 2 to 3 days is when they did that, because it's also an option for the battle zone as well. But I want to do that because that gives me the rules and everything for the game, but the minis.
Yeah.
Because as we went over at the beginning, that's 10 Legionnaires, 10 Scourge things, and 10 Resistance Fighters. And you get like an Eviscerator and a Hazard Suit in the Strike Team box. If you look at the actual Strike Team that you get for the UCM, you get 2 Hazard Suits, 5 Legionnaires, 5 Praetorians.
Yep.
Like, it's more of the what's going on. Same with the Scourge. The Scourge, you get 5 Warriors, 2 Eviscerators, 2 Razor Worms. So, like, you get more than just
you get a variety.
10 of the whatever. Yeah. So... But I'm also in the situation where I'm not in a community, so
you need to.
If I need one, so if I'm going to start one, it's 40 pounds for a strike team. That's not terribly bad. That's like $50. That's like the cost of a crew, the cost of a kill team, the cost of like whatever. So to get one of each, have all the factions, get the core stuff. That will give me the ability to entice people to want to play. Now, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do is those 6 strike teams and the set. I want to add the faction-specific dice because that would be really cool as, entice you to play. But 60 pounds for dice that's a lot of money for dice.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much... Dice is one of those things where certain people will just spend ungodly amounts on them because they want. I love dice too. It's not a bad price for dice, but
it'd be 60 pounds for 60 dice.
And realistically, how many sets of dice do you already own?
Yeah, I've got 4 sets of dice.
Saying that, I've spent money. Like when I bought my dwarves, I specifically went out and bought. Granted, cheap dice, but dice that fit their theme. And I am someone that does this, but
me too. I mean, that's these are faction specific dice, so it would go with the faction. That's the reason why I want to do it.
And they're exclusive sets too. These are not the same ones that you get on the TT Combat website.
Yeah, but I'm going to pass on those. But so that's ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of each of the 40-pound strike teams because each strike team has 3 different types of minis instead of just, one type like is in the box. It'll give more of the feeling of, this is what the game is instead of, we've got these, you could buy this. I don't have that. It's more what I want to do. And it'll give me quite a bit for not a lot of money either,
Yeah.
if you think about it. So
I really like what they're doing here. I mean, I want to spend far more money than I have. I'll just be honest.
well, yeah.
Out of the three of us, I'm probably the one on the tightest budget. That's just a fact of life, and that's fine. I'm not actually complaining about that. But we can't spend money upon money upon money buying stuff for games all the time. That's just not how real life works. I mean, some people are whales and can afford to do that. That's not the lives that we lead. Realistically, my plan at this stage, so I am on the Striketeam Commander website, and I have changed what I was going to do, 3 times at this point? I mean, you guys have read my rants at this point.
I stopped counting, Bruce.
My original plan I said last episode was I really don't know what I'm going to do because I already knew I wanted more stuff than I could afford. And I was trying to work out, basically the plan was I will just buy as much as I can and then retail. And retail is obviously the answer to this. I mean, I will buy stuff at retail later.
Mm-hmm.
I am also in a situation where, realistically, I'm probably going to have to foster a community for this if I want to play it. I mean, there are Drop Fleet and Drop Zone players in my area. Drop Fleet especially has actually taken off recently. We had somebody join the Discord specifically so that they could invite me to the Melbourne Play Group.
Yeah.
And he's like the second person that had reached out to me with that group. The first one I was like, I don't know who you are. I'm not clicking on random links. It turned out to be, the guy that had let me unbox a whole heap of his purchases. But I didn't recognize the username because I've never had him on Discord. My plan at this stage is most likely going to be I'm going to focus specifically on the UCM and the Scourge. If I can stretch the budget enough, I will add some resistance in there as well to build up that third faction. It's a matter of either I'm going to go Strike Team and add both of the core pledges for those two, because I get more stuff and more variety, and most of that, if not all of it, will still work for Strike Team. It is more aimed at Battle Zone. Yeah. But I think that works a little better. I also want to add the rulebook for Battle Zone to mine as well, because I want to have both rule sets. I have been considering changing my pledge to the Dual Commander one, because I kind of really like to have those vehicles. But it's a question of, do I need them? I mean, I don't need them, but it's going to come down to... Oh, I everything. If I had the money, I would go all in. I just don't have that money.
Yeah.
I'd also love to do what George is doing and just like buy all 6 of those core strike teams. But it's if I was to do that, I couldn't also do the Battle Zone starter, and I want to have both starters. I want to at least have the option to expand. I mean, again, I can buy retail at a later stage if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But there's part of me that I'm trying not to justify what I'm doing for the YouTube channel, knowing that Socks has both. Maybe Socks can unbox one and I'll unbox the other. I mean, we don't even have dates for when this has been delivered yet, but
yeah,
I think they said late.
I think they said late this year. Is what Hopefully. I thought I saw.
But yeah, so that's my plan at this stage. Is I'm either going to switch up to the Dual Commander, or I will add the Battle Zone starter to mine, save myself that £20, and just miss out on those last two vehicles. Because the dual commander gives you...
I've got it.
It's the
It gives you your
Hunter
Wolverine.
and the
No, it
Wolverine.
gives you the Wolverine and the 2 Prowlers. You get your 2 Prowlers for the Scourge.
No, that
The
comes in the
little
box.
spider
The dual commander gives you an extra 2 vehicles as well.
It gives you the Scourge Hunter and the tank, the Saber tank. Correct.
So I'd still get the Prowlers and is it the
The Wolverine.
The
Wolverine.
I'd still get those.
Yeah.
But if I had the 2 boxes separately, I wouldn't get the other 2 tanks, which I kind of want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a matter of what I can stretch to, especially like, at the moment with like. It's probably worth noting at the moment. Side note, but Mum's actually doing well. She's kind of frustrated with her mind at times, but she's doing well. Mum's struggling a bit with like things like phones and TVs, which she's never really been someone that struggled with that sort of thing. But she's having to do like physio and kind of work through that.
Yeah.
She's finding it as frustrating as most people in her situation was. Everybody keeps on reminding her that you need to be patient and you need to understand that like it will get easier. But telling somebody that and because that's not how the brain works. Like you will find things frustrating whether you should or not.
Yep.
Anybody that's dealt with physio will probably understand that frustration. I mean, I certainly haven't dealt with it to that level, but after my big accident, I grew really frustrated with not being able to go places. I mean, you guys know how frustrated I was getting, and depressed for that matter. I was shocking. I just needed anywhere to get out of the house and do anything. To the point where I put myself in a lot of pain just getting out of the house at points. So, I mean, I could probably spend an hour on this.
So what I'm getting is, I'm getting the dual commander. I've already got that locked in. I'm not going to change that.
Yep.
But then I added during the campaign all the Kickstarter exclusive heroes, and then I added a PHR core troop bundle and some sirens. That's what I added during the campaign, and then right now, I'm looking at getting all the scatter terrain sets, all 3 of them. And then adding the terrain chroma strike team map, and then the Menchit and the Janus vehicles for the PHR. That way I have vehicles for my PHR set, so I can play 3 different factions fully upon arrival.
Yep. I'm really, really keen for this. So most likely, I want to go dual commander. I also want to add both of the core sets for UCM and Scourge. And then it's just a question of if I can do something for the Resistance or not. Realistically, if I was to stick with just the strike teams, I could probably do all 3. Or if I just stick with the Striketeam Commander box, buy the £10 rulebook for Battlezone, I could probably do the core for all 3. And then I miss out on the vehicles, though. So it's just a matter of, I'm probably going to go back and forth on this quite a bit before I finally hit. Because I've got to pay for flights and stuff going home to visit Mum. So it's a matter of what's left over. I don't know when the deadline for the Pledge Manager is yet. I know I got a reminder already, but I don't know when the deadline is, so I need to probably find out. I might ask Louis.
Yeah, that's a little soon to be like saying, hey, you need, like, it hasn't been a week yet.
No, I know. My guess is we have a few weeks still.
I think it's because I went in here, I added stuff, and then I've deleted stuff. I've deliberately left my stuff blank so that when I was showing it on the episode, you don't see all of the stuff that I want to add. Because I thought it was a more interesting conversation if we do it that way. So it's probably reminding me because the system sees I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
One last time. Look at how pretty these buildings are. Like, these are quite literally Louis holding up his phone and taking pictures of things for us. And I mean, that's quite literally what
they look nice.
If you look down on the table, there's also some unpainted stuff there as well. Which is nice to see. I didn't even notice that the first time, but there's actually a little sneak peek of some of the unpainted scenery there as well. So, Striketeam Commander, Battle Zone, Drop Squad Commander. The excitement is real.
Yes, it is coming.
I mean, if you haven't been watching for a while, if you didn't see our interviews with Louis and with Dave for that matter, well, listening to your own podcast feels really dumb. But I went back and I watched both of those episodes recently, just because I wanted to remind myself of what the conversation was before we did this episode, to kind of like, because there was a few things that we were like we got a couple of exclusives. Like, we got the exclusive of was it the Resistance ship? Or was it?
No, the
Bi-officers.
Bi-officer.
Oh, it was the
ship.
Dreadnought. That's right. Yeah. Because we got the. He didn't actually say which it was, but
No,
but
he mentioned that it was coming. Something was coming.
He also said that there's a faction that didn't have a Dreadnought yet. So immediately I've picked up on which one that was, and I said, if you don't know which one it's going to be, you should look at the website, because I've kind of just joined in to not tease it but make it very clear that he's just told you exactly what's coming. And Dave kind of went a lot into not just where he came from hobby wise, but like inspiration for the game and why he needs to redetail things. And because Louis versus Dave on detail is a bit amusing, because Louis is like, yeah, I gave up on that argument. I can't beat Dave on that argument because Dave wants to redo everything, and obviously Louis is like, yeah, but it already looks great. And to be frank, he's right. It does already look great. But there's things that you should see at 28 mil that you can't see at 15 mil. So hence why he wants to redo things. This is shaping up to be awesome.
I am looking forward to it. This is probably my favorite release that's coming out this year, game-wise, of everything that I've backed, that I'm still waiting on Kickstarter backs.
There's probably only one thing that I would say that I wish we had at this stage that we have. No, two things. I wish we had some images of the Strike Team set, or at least a preview of what the art looks like. Hence why I asked Louis. We might get some of that next episode. He hasn't promised anything, but he did say that he might be able to get me some more stuff on Tuesday. But the other thing that we haven't got, I mean, it's kind of been teased. Like, you can kind of, if you look at what's included in the sets, you can see what is clearly going to be for Strike Team and what's not. I mean, for example, clearly you can't use a mortar or a rocket launcher a missile launcher inside. Those are in the Battle Zone set for a reason, and not the other one. But I kind of wish that at this point we'd had at least at this stage, this is what's in one game, this is what's in the other. That's probably the only real thing that I wish that we'd seen at this point. But it's obviously worth remembering, and Louis touched on this during the interview, which is that the reason the Kickstarter was happening is because the game wouldn't exist if it didn't. All of this at the time when the Kickstarter was running was still up in the air. Especially Battle Zone, because Battle Zone didn't exist at one point. That was something that was added.
It was all going to be Strike Team
after the fact. Yeah. So like some of this is like I would love to see it, but they didn't have these answers yet.
And I think the only reason why Battle Zone came around is because people saw the initial pictures of Strike Team and wanted a little bit bigger scale.
It's because they teased the vehicles for their display.
Correct.
And that's all it was supposed to be. It was just supposed to be a display. And everybody went, oh no, but I really want the vehicles. I really want to play with them. Because they did the bear as an exclusive kind of like, they actually did
showcase
the bear
model
and redid it as a showcase model of like a reward for fans that really wanted something.
And I want to say they did a Raven too, if I remember correctly. The little flying.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
UCM.
I don't think they'd redetailed it yet. I think that was just.
I don't think they had either.
Yeah, it was just blown up like the other one.
Yeah,
like the.
Correct.
I have a Prowler somewhere. I think I put it away. George, very early on, we were kind of like we are concentrating on Strike Team because it's the game that we were all excited about. And I don't think that's changed. But are you more interested in Battlezone now than you were this time last year?
No.
I know you're not buying into it, but...
No. Just for the fact of when again, I'm going to take credit for this. When I put that nugget into, like, is there going to be a Drop Squad Commander? Where it's the Zone Mortalis, where, fleet's in the atmosphere, zone is the city, squad is in the building. That's what I want to do is, the squad in the building. I don't think we need a 28 millimeter scale Drop Zone Commander. That's essentially what Battlezone feels like to me, is just Drop Zone but bigger scale. I don't think we need that. I want to do the whole concept of, like the whole, like, imagine this at a tournament, right? You got a game of Drop Fleet going. Based on what's happening on Drop Fleet, you got Drop Zone happening based off that. And then you have Drop Squad games happening of what's happening on Zone. So, no, I'm not... I think it's great that they're doing it, but I'm not excited for it.
Yeah, that's fair. What about yourself, Socks? Like, because obviously, again, Strike Team is what we were originally excited by. You decided to go for Dual Commander. But are you excited for more one or the other, or is it a little bit even? Has your opinion shifted on it, or?
I think it's still about even. I'm excited for the fact that we can potentially do multi-layer, like George was saying, multi-layer boards going between floors and rooms and stuff like that. But I'm also kind of looking forward to a little bit smaller scale, in a sense of having a vehicle, maybe two, and a couple of squads of infantry running around on a 6x4 table. I'm excited for both, to be honest. Still,
I mean, a skirmish size battle, it's not entirely different from a full sized army battle.
Correct.
But it might feel different enough to find its own place. I feel the biggest value for Battlezone is going to be from the part of the community that doesn't look at anything at a smaller scale, which is not a small part of this community. I would, like, most seasoned players don't really look at it that way anymore. But a huge part of the fan base, like the Warhammer fan base, generally speaking, don't like things at a smaller scale. Generally speaking. Like the Imperialis stuff, for example. I mean, it has sold very well, but it's a niche game. I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Remind me, Drop Squad Strike Team is 2x2, right?
Well, if you look at the maps, I want to say it's going to be probably a 2x3 because it's a rectangular board.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they've actually said exactly how large.
I don't know if they have
is,
either.
But it's kind of I get the impression that it's like 2x2, 2x3. It's intended to be a smaller. It's a board game sized game.
I mean, you might be able to do a 4x4, just to do a bigger building.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm very excited for this. I'm excited to get it in hand. I'm excited to show it off to people that haven't even heard of it. I'm genuinely excited for this.
Just looking at these starter sets and the maps that they have on the Strike Team box starter set, it looks like it's going to be a 1 x something. But I could be wrong. Again, This is just by looking at the artwork that we have of the starter set picture.
Yeah. Thank you very much to Valhalla Hobby for sponsoring this episode and sponsoring all episodes. We really appreciate you. Valhalla Hobby is pretty much the only reason we were able to afford gettingtabled.com originally. They are the ones that reached out and were like, hey, do you have the website yet? I said, well, no, we can't really afford it yet. Could you if this happened? Yes. And that's quite literally, it was quite literally the conversation that took place before they sponsored us. So we really appreciate them. They have a huge range. I But they are stored in Verona, Wisconsin. They do ship, obviously, across the US. That is how business works. They have your popular stuff. They have your Warhammers. They have all of that, but they have a huge range of the indie scene as well. They have TT Combat. They have GCT. They have Warlord Games. Do they have everything? No. Do they have access to a lot? Yes. If they don't have,
I'm gonna throw in a better testimonial here, Bruce. So I've ordered Malifaux through them. I wasn't paying attention when I ordered my Explorer Fate deck and in English Ivan and my Anarchist handbook. I ordered the wrong handbook for the crew I was buying. I called them up and they're like, "Oh, yep, same price, hasn't shipped yet. We'll just swap it." So now my order says Explorer's handbook instead of Anarchist handbook. So.
And that is the sort of thing that good customer service will do, but it's not something that they are required to do. If you buy something by accident, a store doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to be nice about it.
Yeah.
I mean, most stores probably would, but I have certainly had experiences with stores that have chosen not to, or have conveniently posted things before answering the email. They couldn't have done that in this case, but still, that is something that you do see. If you go to valhallahobby.com, you will find they have excellent prices. But if you use the code TABLED at checkout, you'll get 5% off your first order over $100. It's not something we get a kickback from. It's just something that they can use to track and give you incentive to, use our link. Thank you very much. They are a wonderful group of people. They give us feedback all the time. Where can people find us, Socks?
All over the place. You can find us at our website at gettingtabled.com. Primarily, you'll find us at facebook.com/gettingtabled. That's where we're the most active out of all of our social media. You can also find us at youtube.com/gettingtabled. And then if you want to email us questions, comments, whatever, it's at gettingtabled@gmail.com. You can also join our Discord. Invite will be in the description. And then X/Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, they're all at Getting Tabled. And then Reddit is r/Getting Tabled. And then if you're not tired of Bruce, he has his YouTube toy reel. And then he also has Entropy City, which is now entropycity.com.
Yes. EntropyCityGame.com still exists. The renewal is about to come up for it, actually. I will renew it. I don't think I'll keep that long. I don't know. Anything else from you, George?
Keep your eyes out for the poll that we're going to post on what we're going to call Socks instead of Lieutenant Colonel.
We should legit do this to see what the response is.
Oh, I am. I'm gonna come up.
I am so looking forward to this.
I'm going to come up with a couple because.
Knowing you as a former Marine, I know you're going to have some good ones.
I take full responsibility for his nickname because, well, I came up with it, and
given that I didn't know where it came from, well, I knew where the major came from, or captain at the time. I had no idea where Socks came from until 12 months ago.
Something like that.
It was like last year and a half, where you're like, "Oh wait, it's not from a baseball team."
No,
I have a feeling it's while I was injured.
Maybe
I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Jason, at least I went with Socks instead of Sweater.
Yeah, I appreciate that. A whole lot better.
Major Sweater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For listening to Getting Tabled. Music used in this podcast was created by Eric Matyas at soundimage.org.
Drop Squad Commander rules.